Hey guys, we are back from MACE in North Carolina, and Gareth is actually sitting in the room with me here.
Fancy that.
Came to Ohio, of all places.
Ohio, like where is that?
So tell me, or tell us, what it took to get here. You didn't just fly. You didn't fly to Dayton, Ohio, my city.
I'm not a normal person, right? I don't think anything normal. If you've seen any of my channels other than this one, you know I do not do anything normal. So I left on the 2nd of November at 3 p.m. and arrived in LA at 2:45 on the same day. So I went back in time by 15 minutes.
So you time traveled back.
Yeah. And I stopped in New Zealand for like an hour as well. So.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I went via New Zealand.
Oh.
So it's a real hop, skip, and a jump. So then I decided I'm going to drive from LA to Ohio. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you do the calculation, I think it's like 2,200 miles or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've seen more of America than most Americans.
Right.
And more state troopers too. That's a private conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole other thing.
And then we drove from your place down to North Carolina. Yeah. Well, I say we. Yeah. What I really mean is your wife.
My wife is the driver.
Yes. So. We thank her. We are not worthy.
Yes, we do.
We're not worthy.
Yes, I thank her every day for being my driver. I'm not good at driving. I can't keep a speed, so she'll be like, "Why are you going 50?" It's like 65 here. Why are you going 50? Oh, sorry. And I'll speed up, and I'll just slowly slow down. It's like she's like great at just keeping the speed, so that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. So you got here Wednesday night, right? We left Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So so it was pretty much a whirlwind turnover for you and travel.
I like driving. I actually got married in the US in Las Vegas, and my honeymoon with my wife was driving around the United States for about 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And it was such a fun trip that I said, if I come back to the US, I'm not going to fly from place to place. I'm going to drive from place to place. And I encourage you, if you are going to come to the US, I encourage you to actually drive across the US rather than fly. Because flying, you don't get to meet all the people in the middle.
Right.
Because you're just bouncing from side to side, really.
Yeah.
And the real America's in the middle.
Oh, totally, yeah. And you had a lot of interesting encounters, but it's like, we could take up a whole video on that.
Oh, yeah, no, that's an entire YouTube channel.
So we drove down to MACE in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's about an 8-hour drive for us. We did run into some weather, some traffic, so it was a bit longer for us. We did get there, but one of the people who runs the MACE, Ron McClung, did a special game for us that night. Thursday night we got in. He did a Call of Cthulhu game with World War II. We were all World War II troopers on this island. It was a lot of fun. Gareth bit it.
Yeah, I died.
Big Al, his character was Big Al.
Who would have thought that being inside a tank would have been vulnerable?
So he got in the tank, and that ended up being not a good choice on his part. But it was a lot of fun. My daughter and her boyfriend were also playing with us, and she ended up dying too. She got killed. But it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. And then at the end of the game, Bill Wylock went to get Jeremy, picked him up, came in, and we got to see Jeremy. All of us together in the same room. It was so amazing. We had V, Bill, you, me, and Jeremy. It was so amazing just for us all to be in this room because we've known each other for years. We've been friends for years. Yeah. But just these distances.
Only in the modern world can you meet old friends for the very first time.
Yes, that's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah, when Jeremy walked into the room, it was, yay, Jeremy's here. This is a person I've never physically been in the same presence of before, right? It's like when I drove up in this guy's driveway, and I was like, what's this hobbit walking out of the front door? Because the dude is so short.
He is taller than I am. I thought he was about my height, from YouTube. And it's like, whoa, dude, you're tall. So.
I'm just sitting on a lower chair now just to give the king some,
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we had a pretty amazing weekend. So after that, we had next day we did a craft off, right? So we judged a craft contest that was done earlier by people, and it was kind of cool. They were given a miniature. A particular miniature that was like painted, but it was like a different genre, like superhero or fantasy hero. They even had like a Christmas one. They had all these different miniatures, and the people had to make a kind of a diorama set that went with the miniature, and that was really cool. We got to judge that, so we judged and picked that. But then after that, we had a craft off with all the guild masters, and we had 3.5 hours to make the winning craft, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty neat.
After 30 minutes, I look over at what this guy's doing and go,
I was like,
he went big, and I had to go home.
I was going big, or I was going home, because I was like, I am gonna like make the biggest thing I can possibly make, and we worked up to the last minute, didn't we? It was literally the last minute.
You and I were still painting.
Yeah, we were still painting at the last minute.
Wylock had finished like after 20 minutes. That guy's like, oh yeah, behold it, done. Right. I just taught like 30 people to make these things.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty cool. He had his class for his really cool Beholder video to how to make it. And V was doing painting classes before that, so that was really cool that we got to see people's crafts, and they got to teach people live these crafts that they only ever get to see on YouTube. But so we worked our little tails off, and I ended up taking home the trophy. The thing was, the wow factor is what did it for me, because they were kind of like, they couldn't decide, and then the final thing was, okay, when you walk in the room, what is it that leaps out at you?
Yeah.
And it was mine, because it was so
the
big
thing
and
with
crazy.
the tongue.
So I brought home the golden mace.
Golden mace.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to sign this sucker, okay, and put the year. And then when I go back, if we do this again, when I go back next time, I can't be in the contest. I'm going to be one of the judges. So that's going to be fun. So I will pass the golden mace on to the next crafter. So that'll be really something really fun.
That will be cool.
I also swiped one of the crafts, and this is Jeremy's house. I was like, oh, dude, I gotta have the house. So we were donating the other crafts. V had to take her craft; she needed it, but we were donating the other crafts, and mine included, to charity. But I was like, oh, can I have? I begged Jeremy for him to give me the house, and it's like, it's really something.
You didn't have to beg. You're just like, yeah, of course you can have it.
It was a keepsake, from Jeremy, so I was really appreciative that he gave me this, and it was so much fun. In Wylock's video on the mace, Blanco does.
Oh, that's one of the best.
Like
ranks.
a WWE introduction, and it is just hilarious, like riotous. It's hilarious. Is he gonna win? Is he gonna win? And he's like saying all the stuff about each crafter. It's like, no, the horse, the black horses, Wylock, he's gonna win. So that was just a really fun thing he did.
Well, we did get to meet a lot of other YouTubers that were there.
Yes.
And people who do stuff on Twitch and that sort of thing as well. Yeah. So there was a lot of people asking for advice, and a lot of things where I was trying to get information out of people. But Blanco is one of them.
Yeah.
Craftnix was there as well.
Frankie D. Crafter.
Yep. Frankie D. Crafter was there. He's very enthusiastic.
Oh yeah. Great. All great people. All great fantastic people.
You see their channels and you think, oh, wonder what it'd be like. What they're like in person. Well, they're just what you see on the channel. That's why they become successful. I think is because the more you are yourself, the better you do. And wonderful, wonderful people. And then, of course, there's the fans, So we met someone like Colin. I don't know if Colin is watching. We met Colin.
Yeah. Hey, Colin. How you doing?
Kemper and Brian, who are sort of, massive fans who are always personally messaging us. And they're practically family now.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And then, of course, the big event was to add Jim as one of the.
Oh yes, that was
one
awesome.
of the Craft
that
Guild
was amazing.
Masters,
and that was a unanimous vote by us in the guild.
That was
it was a no-brainer.
It was a suggestion that basically everyone said, "Well, I was about to suggest that as well," and then everyone said, "Yes, of course, why not?"
Right.
Should have been a long time ago.
Right. He has amazing videos. He's a great teacher. Super active in the community. and a wonderful guy. That's a big part for me. I need to like the person. I need to like the person because we're going to work with these people, and we want the goodwill of the community to come through. And so that's a big component for me, And it was kind of funny because you could see in Wylock's video about he's introducing Jim, and it was funny because Jim was talking to Miguel, who's this person who done all the D&D monsters for 3D printing for free, which is an amazing thing for our community. But he was kind of talking to him at the moment, and Wylock was dropping hints that we were going to make him. And it was funny, he wasn't catching it.
He wasn't catching
it. And it was all of a sudden, it was like, what? And he's like, oh my God! So Jim's like, or Wylock's like, yeah. He's like, Bill's like, yeah, he's this guy, and he has this magazine and all this stuff. And Bill's just, and Jim's just talking away, and then finally realized what's going on. And Jim was surprised and happy, and we all just gave a big hug to him to introduce him and get him into the guild, and now he's one of us, and it's just amazing the goodwill of the community. It really is.
And of course, one of the things is this was the first convention I'd ever been to. I'd been to like small things that people would call a convention, but was really like 2 game tables and maybe 50 people went to it. So that's just a glorified home game as far as I'm concerned. This was a proper thing with lots of different games, lots of different tables, like a whole sort of hall where they had vendors there. So it was a proper con kind of experience. But what I liked about it was not like a Gen Con where it's 40,000 people, where I wouldn't have been able to find Scotty because they wouldn't have got enough Wi-Fi or internet to send a message. It would have been impossible. We got to have these intimate experiences because the guys at MACE really embraced what we do. Mm-hmm. Jeff and Ron, they really did make us feel very, very welcome. They put out the welcome mat, and they helped the fans come and see us and talk to us. And it was a very porous kind of feeling, like you could just, you could go where you needed to go and see who you needed to see. And being my first experience and what I've heard from other people, that's not a normal con experience.
No, it's not.
So I'm very appreciative to them for just letting us. We're practically taking over the place,
right?
At their expense.
It almost feels like a craft con,
Yeah.
Because they're both crafters too. They love the craft, and they've been so welcoming. Like I said, the welcome mat. It's just been an amazing experience, and it's almost like the crafters are like starting to migrate to this con. We met so many other crafters at the con.
Yeah, it wasn't an hour that went past where you weren't bumping into someone, or someone was introducing you to their kids who love to watch the channel and that sort of thing.
Right.
Which is great.
It is,
because for me, I sit in a room and talk to a camera, and I interact with little circles with text next to them. That's my experience of people, right? But when you actually get to be in the room with people and they tell you the story of how you brought them back into the game, or they come up to you and say, shake your hand, thank you very much for what it is that you do, you don't realize what the impact is. People can tell you in an email or whatever, and it's like, you're thankful and appreciative. But when someone actually physically comes up and shakes your hand and said, you pulled me out of a dark place, that's incredible. It's
really touching. It's really, we take that to heart. We really do.
I was talking to Caleb, who from Blanco, and he was saying it recharged his creative batteries, and it really does. For us, it's really like I want to get back to it. I want to give the audience what they want,
right.
Because I now know the people, or at least a small percentage of them, that so I know who they are, and I have an idea of what they're looking for, and
right.
And it's not just a camera lens that I'm talking into.
Right. We also had the. You also ran a Quest Givers adventure.
I did.
In your 7D system.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. If you haven't seen that, check it out from Gareth. And it sounds like they had a blast, but it was like, it's actually a module that we don't have out yet. It's coming soon, but it's what we don't have out yet. It's going to be in our Kickstarter book. But that was fun. You got to run that, and we had other people running our other Quest Givers adventures also. So that was nice to be able to get to spread the love and the word about.
And also getting a lot of feedback as well.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing is when you're putting out creative things, you want to find out what people think of things. It's the hardest thing to do, is to get decent feedback from people.
Right.
And we were getting good feedback. So, it helps us grow and develop what it is that we're actually doing. And, when we're interacting with other people like Miguel and these kind of people, we're learning about other ways of introducing products and what we can do to collaborate with people in different spaces that are sort of a complementary to what we do. So that's not like it's a competitive thing, it's more of a collaborative thing. So, it helps us to then develop relationships with other channels, with people out there in the community and vendors and things like that who they'll help us to bring more things to you that you may not know about, or, there's just a variety of things. It's all positive.
Oh, yeah, it's totally all positive. And I really like to run a terrain game, at MACE. So basically what I do is I make a terrain game for MACE, and then I take it to Origins because it's a whole nother group of people. So I take it to Origins in Columbus. And so I got to run that. And my daughter always helps me run the game. She's like my terrain slave. And
I want one of those.
She's fantastic. So it really makes the changes quick on the table. She hands me the stuff and everything. So it's funny. Usually I run the adventure for her in a group before I run it at MACE. But I didn't get the chance to do that. So I had to kind of run through the adventure with her before, I ran my first game. So that Saturday night I ran the game, and it was so much fun. Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday I got to run the game for the Guildmasters. Unfortunately I didn't have everybody because people had to leave. It was kind of later Sunday, but I had Gareth, I had Jeremy, I had V, and I nabbed a couple other people to play. So we ended up with 6 players.
And I'd just like to say before he goes on, it was the best game I'd ever been in.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't just say that because we do this together. I say that because it was the best game I'd ever played. Honestly, I was just sitting there. It hit all the levels for me. Like, everything was just...
I really had some fun ideas for the game, and it was it was a lot of fun with all the groups. It was a real Gonzo type game, where it just gave people free reign to just be crazy with it, and
it was the first time you DM'd a game that I was in.
Yes.
I mean, we've played in games together. And I've DM'd you.
You've DM'd me, right. But I've never DM'd you.
You've experienced my chaos. Now I get to experience your genius.
But I really wanted the Guildmaster. V's played in my games before, but I really wanted the other Guildmasters to see kind of how it works. Because sometimes until you see how I do it and how it works, you may not understand how all the components work together. But I had a lot of scene changes, didn't I? I had a lot of scene changes in the game. I had a board that would flip over to 2 sides. I had like a techie side, and I had like kind of a wasteland side. So I would flip the board over for different things. I had all these kind of shortcuts to set up quickly, it really worked out. I did have a lot of scene changes, but it worked out good.
There are a lot of people who can talk the talk when it comes to running the game. But to be able to talk the talk and walk the walk, that's a very special talent.
Oh, thanks, man.
That is a very special talent. I hope to be that good one day. So, if you ever have the opportunity to be in a DM Scotty game, you grab it with both hands, kicking and screaming.
I would love to have you in my game. So, I've been to MACE for the last 3 years, and I have no plans to stop going. So, if you want to see me and get in one of my games... come to MACE.
And book fast because they disappear.
They fill up fast.
Unless you
people
get into
know
the
now.
private game where it's like, here's $500. $50.
$50. Yeah, people know now, so they fill up pretty fast.
Yeah.
So,
And, I ran a 7D system game, which, it's a game where it's always new players that are playing because there's not a lot of people who know about the game, and not a lot of people who... But most people who play the game end up continuing to play the game afterwards. Right. So it's always like, just send me an email, I'll send you the rules, you play test it so I can give you a copy of the rules. The emails pretty much come in straight away. So that's always a good sign. It is a good sign when that happens. So I'm very appreciative of the people that came in. Blanco was one of them, so hopefully he says something about it on his channel. So it's always better when someone else talks about it rather
It
than
is,
me.
yeah. We like to tout
He
ourselves.
just battles on about his own bloody game the whole time.
And I actually ran my own game system there, that Scotty's Easy D6 RPG system, and it's the idea of the system is that you'll never have to look at your character sheet, and you'll never have to look at any rules. It's that easy. It's great for one shots, and I love it. So
it's a perfect one shot system.
It is. It's a great one shot, and we are going to have that on Quest Givers for a very minimal price that you can pick up. So if you're looking for just an easy game for one shots, check it out.
Yeah, that'll be. It's very good. It's.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's it's almost flawless. I have a few DMG inputs.
Yeah, I'm still tweaking stuff.
The DMG iron.
Yeah, I'm still I'm still tweaking it. It's play testing.
But that's more my BS than anything else. So yes, if you can get through to MACE, it's a very enjoyable experience. I hope to return. Obviously, I have to come from overseas, so there's financial concerns there. But it's something I would like to do again.
We'd love to have you back.
Yeah. And also, I've been staying with this man for a week, and that's been like, it's like going to the holy temple, and I come into his house and I'm like, "Where's the game room? Where's the game room?" You go down into the basement. Oh my goodness! I'll just stand here for hours just picking through all the things you've seen over the video. Oh, here's this, here's this. Again, it's like you go to a space that you've known for a very long time, yet you've never been there.
Right.
And it's amazing to see how small everything is by compared to what you think it is on the video. Because on the video it looks big,
right?
But it's actually quite small. So that was a bit of a including him. He's a lot smaller. Than
I am a lot smaller.
He's so tiny. So tiny. He's so tiny.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed us telling you about MACE, and we hope to see you there. Yeah.
Yes. 2020.
Yeah. Take care, guys.